Attention passionate Detroit Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit Lions fans. Let's get to the news now. Folks, buckle up because what I'm about to tell you is as exciting as it gets for Lions fans. We're witnessing a seismic shift in the NFC North, and it all centers around a blockbuster trade that has the potential to reshape the division, the NFC playoff picture, and perhaps even the future of the Detroit Lions. It's not just a rumor, it's coming from sources close to the league, echoing the insights of Diana Rossini, and it involves one of the most talented cornerbacks in the NFL today, Patrick Surtain II from Denver. This move, if it goes through, could be a game changer, and I want to walk you through everything we know so far, why it matters so much, and what it means for the Lions' quest for that elusive Super Bowl title. So let's start with the basics. The Denver Broncos, a team that's been in a bit of a rebuild mode after a tumultuous season, struggling with consistency and injuries, are apparently ready to make a bold move. After a 2-3 start with their quarterback Bo Nix facing some ups and downs, the Broncos are looking to shake things up. They're at a point where they're willing to trade away some key pieces to bolster their future cap space and draft capital. And that's where Patrick Surtain II comes into the picture. The reports indicate that Denver is open to trading Surtain to the Detroit Lions in exchange for a first-round pick in 2026 and a third-round pick in 2025. Yes, you heard that right, a first-round pick, one of the most valuable assets in any NFL trade, especially for a team like Detroit that's been building a strong core and looking to push for a Super Bowl. Now, why would the Broncos do this? Well, it's all about balancing their rebuild. They're currently at a crossroads, trying to develop their younger players and figure out how to maximize their cap space. The offensive line has been a weak spot, allowing 28 sacks in just 5 games, and they're probably looking at extending some of their rookies or signing key free agents to bolster their protection. Freeing up around $11 million in cap space by trading Surtain makes a lot of sense for Denver's long-term plans. But for the Lions, this is a massive opportunity that could redefine their secondary and strengthen their defense against some of the league's best passing attacks. Speaking of the Lions, let's talk about what Surtain would bring to Detroit. The Lions are sitting at a solid 4-1 record, but their secondary has been hit hard by injuries. Terrion Arnold, their promising young cornerback, suffered a serious ACL tear in Week 3 and is out for a long stretch, and DJ Reed has been battling a concussion, leaving the opposite side of the field somewhat vulnerable. Bringing in Surtain would be like adding a top-tier, elite-level shield to their secondary, a true blue-chip player who can lock down the best receivers, especially in big moments. And make no mistake, Surtain is not just any cornerback. Drafted out of Alabama in 2021, he's become one of the NFL's most consistent and elite cover men. In 2022 and 2023, he's been named All-Pro, and his stats speak volumes. 18 tackles solo in 2025, ranked 65th among cornerbacks, but what stands out is his coverage rating of 69.8, which places him in the top 5 among his peers. He's also got 4 pass deflections this season, an interception, and a -0. 13 EPA per target, which is considered elite. His PFF grade of 87. 4 puts him right up there among the best corners in the league. What makes Surtain such a special player? Well, for starters, his ability to shut down top receivers is comparable to the peak of Darrelle Revis. He wins 75% of his press coverage battles, allowing a QBR of just 54, 2 when targeted, a remarkable number. His career totals include 210 tackles, 7 interceptions, and 40 pass deflections, with a completion allowed percentage of just 47%. Injuries have been minimal for him, with only a hamstring issue in 2025 costing him a game. His skill set is reminiscent of a lockdown corner, top 3 in press coverage, with a yards per reception allowed of just 2.8 in YAC situations, and his coverage rating consistently among the league's elite. Now, looking at the bigger picture, Denver is in a tough spot. They're not currently contenders for the postseason, with odds of over 8-0 to make the playoffs, and they're facing stiff competition within the AFC West, which is loaded with talent and deep playoff contenders. The team's main focus right now is rebuilding their offensive line and managing their salary cap, especially with extensions looming for their rookies. Trading Surtain makes strategic sense for them. They get valuable draft picks and cap space, and they hope to develop their younger players and build for the future. But the risk is clear. Losing Surtain could weaken their secondary by approximately 15% in EPA per pass, a significant decline that could make them vulnerable, similar to what we've seen with Seattle during their Legion rebuild, where defense struggled and points leaked. Back in Detroit, though, the potential acquisition of Surtain could be transformative. Imagine what he would do for this Lions defense, which has already been impressive but could become even more formidable with him anchoring the secondary. Analysts project that Surtain could bring an additional 12 interceptions over the season, significantly reducing the passing yards allowed, dropping from around 200 yards per game to approximately 170. That's a boost of about 20% in coverage efficiency. When you compare him directly to Carlton Davis, his potential partner, the numbers are striking. Surtain would allow an extra 9 yards of separation, but his deflection rate would increase by 22%, making it much harder for quarterbacks to complete passes against the Lions. This upgrade would elevate the Lions' defense to a top-tier level, potentially top 2 in the league against the pass, and support Goff in a big way. Jared Goff, currently throwing for around 450 yards and 10 touchdowns, would gain more time and safer throws, with an average of 8 more possessions per game. Their run game, already strong at 130 yards per game, would benefit from the additional pressure on opposing offenses. Plus, with Surtain's elite coverage, the Lions could generate about 10 more turnovers over the course of the season, turning their defense into a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks, and the impact on the odds is already evident. The Super Bowl odds, which were around plus 2,500, have now dropped sharply to plus 1,200, reflecting increased confidence in the Lions' potential. The NFC favorites now sit at plus 200, and Surtain's presence in Detroit would make the Lions a serious contender not just for the NFC North, but for the entire league. Imagine him shadowing the likes of Justin Jefferson or other top receivers in the Dome. His ability to shadow, combined with his elite coverage skills, would give Detroit an extra layer of defense that's hard to beat. His projected plus 25% defensive EPA versus deep threats makes him an X-factor in playoff scenarios, especially in high-stakes games. Now, I want you to think about the bigger picture. This move is more than just a trade, it's a statement. It signals the Lions' intention to contend now, to take that next step towards NFL dominance, and to emulate the dynasties of the 90s like the Packers, who built through smart, aggressive moves. The Broncos, on the other hand, seem to be heading toward a more uncertain future, trying to rebuild from the ground up, risking their secondary stability for future assets. But for Detroit, this represents a golden opportunity, a chance to solidify their defense, to make a statement to the league, and to set themselves up for multiple deep playoff runs. So as fans, we should be excited. We're on the brink of what could be a defining moment for the Lions. If this trade goes through, it's not just about adding a player, it's about changing the narrative, about transforming the roster into a legitimate Super Bowl contender. The defense gets an upgrade, the division gets tougher for rivals, and the Lions take another step towards that championship they've been chasing for so long. It's rare to see a move with this much potential impact, and I know you're just as hyped as I am to see how it all unfolds. Stay tuned, because this story isn't over yet, and the best is yet to come for Detroit. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Detroit Lions news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Are you excited about the possibility of Surtain wearing the Honolulu blue and silver? Do you believe this move could push the Lions over the top and into Super Bowl contention? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Lions. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Detroit Lions news. The offseason is heating up, and this is just the beginning of what promises to be an incredible journey. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and as always, go Lions.